Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I will try to speak clearly, and my apologies for my accent. So, my name, as Andreas kindly indicated, David Robertson. I'm responsible within Bentley, in this case, for research partnerships, and a particularly close partnership we have both with Lithuania and 300 colleagues, Bentley colleagues there, and in this case, very particularly with KTU in Kaunas and this department within the university. So that's very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, just a small journey and perhaps an unusual direction. Disruptive technologies. What do we mean by this? Okay. So, next. Yeah. So what is a disruptive technology? Really, it's something which is relevant to me, something that actually changes things. It's often things we didn't expect, but perhaps if we start with a few examples of disruptive technology, you couldn't have imagined it till it actually happened. So, next. So maps will disappear. Everyone will drive and walk simply based on satellite positioning. Really? Cameras will largely disappear and become the size of a thumbnail. Photography and high-res video will be free in everybody's pockets. Really? And then somebody with special 360-degree cameras will drive up nearly every road in almost every country in the world, even the really small roads, and that data will be available for everybody to drive along and look around, and it'll be so easy even your grandma will use it. Really? Don't be ridiculous. It's never going to happen like that. Well, what a surprise. Not. It's become normal. You know this, don't you? Your camera is now your phone. When did you last buy a camera? People walk around looking at these things all the time, telling them what to do. And even this situation, which seemed incredible, that you couldn't imagine that there would be vehicles driving up all these roads. Where's their money in this? What's the reason they would do it? No surprises for us now, even when you see one of these strange contraptions going up the road at the same time. So, move on. So even on this little island off the coast of Europe with rather a lot of roads, you find, when you take an overview on that there's a tremendous amount of information that's been gathered in every small corner. And it's not just information that is simple photographs, but to people navigating their way around or finding something and looking to buy a house, thinking of going on vacation. In no time at all, they're picking up their phone or their iPad and looking, and they find themselves able to walk down the road, turn the corner, up the street, and see something without them having to go there or to navigate to it, or even the smallest amount of information. Okay, disruptive for sure. So let's try that ethos again. Drones will fly around our cities and towns. They will build automatic 3D models of everything. Machine learning will identify all the key assets automatically from those models, and they will get live data streams straight from sensors, and you'll get it all from computers in your pocket. The traffic information, the weather information, the air quality, even testing the wastewater in case there's a virus. Who would think of that? No more silos of information, everything constantly updated. We won't be able to live without it. Oh yes, and school children will do it all. They'll live inside these digital twins. Yes? Really? Next. Okay, so just a little example here. We'll put the link in the chat window so you can look at this at more length yourself. What you're seeing on the left-hand side here is a rather nice example. It took a little while to do it, but it just shows you where we're going. This is a beautiful example of the city of Pau in France. This is a mesh model, it's not a video. If you look down there, you'll find accuracy in some cases 5 millimeters, in some cases 2 millimeters. So drones flying around the city building a mesh model. And yes, it's scalable. The entire city is captured. As you go in, the level of detail increases. It's scalable, possible, deliverable. There it is. It's just going to get faster and easier and simpler. It is astonishing. And if you look on the right-hand side, if you've got resolution on the inside, simply a series of photographs, and you'll see those actually. So the number of photographs, it knits them together, they overlap, and you're building again. It's not a video. It is a mesh model, and you can see the mesh. And on the bottom right-hand side, if you're up really close, you're building models with accuracy. It's unbelievable. It is quite astonishing. So, not a film, a model of reality, a digital twin. Okay, so if we move on from that, what's actually happening on the ground? Sometimes you're walking around with a camera. If you can't get your drone in the same place, so cameras on the drones, cameras on the ground. This is not a ginormous point cloud. It's a mesh. It's a mesh, a surface-based mesh. And of course, that's going to raise some questions in your mind. It's a mesh. It's not really valuable. I won't be able to use it. There's no IFCs in this. There's no CAD data in this. It's a thought. Next. So, what you actually find, you can work directly inside these models. They are accurate. They are environments, so you're getting a hybrid. So you can mix any vector data with raster data. If you look on the left-hand side, you can work directly into it. You can put the people into it. You can put any kind of design in it. You can flip it over. You can look at the top view. It is all accurate. If you've got a camera inside your phone, whoops, we know you have. So if you go outside and you find a hole in the ground, you can take a video of that, and we'll build a model of that as well. So actually, what you can find here is that over time, the challenge of keeping this up to date is going to find it easier and easier. Small and small pieces of information are going to be federated back inside this same total data set. So, as we said, it's going to be captured and it's going to be kept up to date. So, how intelligent is this? We've got this mesh model. Well, that's okay. You can work inside it. That's okay too. But it's dumb, right? Not so much. So here we're looking at a building in West Cambridge in the UK, and we're starting to see machine learning and intelligence extracted from these kind of reality mesh. So what you can find is we can teach the software to go and look through this and identify and tag information onto these different elements within this. So we get the tagged information. So how does that actually happen? You can pick up images in 2D and you can train the 3D search to happen based upon that 2D information. Again, you can try this. So if we move on, you'll find that in complex environments, you find this is a plant room looking at multiple different items. So you're looking at pumps and gauges, little thermometers, little measuring devices, etc. And you see them coloring up as we're moving around. So this is an overview of that plant room area on the bottom right of the screen. And you can see little bounding boxes, little tags that have appeared around items. And again, as soon as you automatically update it, if it can re-tag, it can add the intelligence automatically. So as things are kept up to date, so the links are kept up to date. That's the important part of automatic image recognition from continuous survey. Okay, so if we move on to the next one. So now we can get tagged information. Can we get live information? And indeed we can. There's nothing there to stop us having live streams of information. In this particular case, what we've got is in a plant room. This one was done in the Institute for Manufacturing at Cambridge University. We've got sensors. We had about 50 sensors in there, and they were streaming by the minute. Of course, you can have aggregated of data. In this case, we were taking the live streams of data, identifying the assets in the way that we've just looked already. So you can identify the assets. if the assets have got streams of live data, not static data, then you're able to navigate both from the data to the asset, from the asset to the data. So you've got bidirectional flows, and you can start to get living digital twins. Okay, it's appearing, it's getting there in reality. That's it. Again, part of this mesh. So on the bottom left-hand side, you see the same plant room as we're moving around it, and there's our couple of pumps, as you can see in the static view. And we could just be able, again, you don't go around pointing to it and tagging it. It happens automatically. So this is, right on the edge of what we're doing at the moment, but that's exactly what it is. Okay, so the next slide. Okay, so what else could we do with this? Well, you can train it to look for cracks in structures. So you identify a few, and then it says, okay, I'll go and look for these all over the city. Why not? So it identifies items, highlights them, and indicates them. And another one on the right-hand side, slightly larger, this one done in collaboration with Microsoft sort of last year. This is took a 2 square kilometer area in the States, and we're looking at all the different roofs and saying the criteria for the search. It should be at the around right angle, and so you see the different roofs highlighted based upon the most optimal locations for installing solar panels, and then what height they are. In other words, it's a mesh, but it's intelligent. We can analyze it, we can use it, we can work with it. It's making this automatically generated 3D model information updatable, scalable, and living and usable in its native form. Okay, something to think about. And the next one. And now we're doing this in Kaunas. So we have an ongoing developing digital twin in Kaunas, working together with the university and other partners. This would be an open research platform. Everybody's welcome to add data. Don't add it if you can't share it. Everybody's going to share it. We will be opening this up. And on to the next slide, and the final slide. We'll find that actually, and there's that picture of those schools again, up in the top right-hand corner. And yes, we're developing a curriculum together with schools and technical colleges and within the university, digital asset management, which we believe will be piloted by about the end of the year. And we will be opening up this data set as an example data set around Europe for schools to interrogate directly. So pretty much exactly what we said at the start, a living, updated data set for a digital twin of the city of Kaunas, available for analysis and access by the next generation of architects, engineers, and construction workers. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you found it interesting.
So one question was, I don't know, maybe you, David, can comment on that. Do you think there is a risk for a country to become, let's say, a cheap source of digitalization, like India, or, you know, just delivering the digital content? And is there a risk for a country like Lithuania to become an exporter of, let's say, cheap digitalization?
I think in the past, that's my personal opinion, in the past, when there was a manual task involved, where you brought in people to digitize information, then you went to an environment that was perceived to have lower human costs, like India, or maybe, I'm struggling to imagine Lithuania in the same context, but I know what you mean. But when we move into this environment, actually, I would put it that exactly the reverse is about to happen. The opportunity for Lithuania, and in this particular case for Kaunas, not only, but in this particular case, is actually to lead and open up so that the world looks to the example of what's been done there and says, my goodness, we can do it. So I would say it's potentially the other way around.